In a number of cases, murderers have been captured on video while they were committing their murders, which has been an essential factor in their conviction. Today, we will show you the 10 disturbing killers who were caught on camera during their crimes. Before we start today's video, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and press the bell icon so you never miss any update. Let's get started. Number 10. Jeffrey Dahmer. American serial killer and sex offender Jeffrey Dahmer was also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster. Dahmer committed gruesome murders to 17 men between 1978 and 1991. He committed cannibalism, necrophilia, rape, and dismemberment. The permanent preservation of body parts, usually all or part of the skeleton, was a common practice in many of his subsequent murders. Despite having both schizotypal and borderline personality disorders, Dahmer was deemed to be legally sane during his trial. On February 17, 1992, he was found guilty of 15 of the 16 killings he had committed in Wisconsin, and he was given 15 life sentences. In addition, he was given a 16th life sentence for another killing that occurred in Ohio in 1978. His horrifying deeds horrified everyone and left a terrible legacy. Number 9. Ted Bundy. Between 1974 and 1978, Ted Bundy, the infamous American serial killer and rapist, terrorized multiple states with his horrific acts. Bundy was a charming psychopath with a clever facade that gave the impression that he was normal. His method of operation was to approach victims in public, frequently pretending to be hurt or to be an authoritative figure. After he won their trust, he would subdue and attack them in remote areas. Bundy wasn't always content to wait for chances on the streets. He murdered and raped women by breaking into residences and dorm rooms. One woman was bludgeoned with a metal rod from her own bed frame. She lived, but her brain was permanently damaged. In Florida, Bundy abducted, sexually assaulted, and killed 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. In addition, he abducted Lynette Dawn Culver, a 12-year-old from her junior high school in Idaho, attacked her, and drowned her. Bundy enjoyed spending the night with the corpses of the women he had raped and murdered. He decapitated 12 victims, kept their heads, had them wash their hair, put makeup on, and had sex with the severed heads. In a sorority home in Florida, Bundy viciously attacked 4 women, murdering 2 and injuring the others. Number 8. Richard Ramirez. Over the course of 14 months in 1984 and 1985, Richard Ramirez, popularly known as the Night Stalker, terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area and greater Los Angeles. Among his horrifying offenses were burglary, sexual assault, and murder. Handguns, knives, machetes, tire irons, and claw hammers were among the many weapons that Ramirez employed. April 1941 is when his first murder is known to have happened. 13 murder counts, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries were all found to be true against him. In sustaining his 19 death sentences, the judge said that his actions demonstrated cruelty, callousness, and viciousness beyond any human understanding. Number 7. Aileen Wuornos. American serial killer Aileen Wuornos was born in Rochester, Michigan as Aileen Carol Pittman. She was a street prostitute along Florida highways between 1989 and 1990, when she shot and robbed 7 male customers. Wuornos asserted that she killed her victims in self-defense after they had either raped her or attempted to rape her. She spent more than 10 years on Florida's death row after receiving a death sentence for 6 of the murders, and on October 9, 2002, she was killed by lethal injection 1. The film Monster, 2003, depicted her life, and Charlize Theron was awarded an Academy Award for her performance as Wuornos. Number 6. Dennis Rader, BTK Killer. Dennis Rader is an American serial murderer who goes by the name BTK Killer, which stands for Bind, Torture, Kill. He killed at least 10 individuals in Wichita and Park City, Kansas between 1974 and 1991. He would bound his captives, subject them to torture, and finally execute them. For decades, Rader avoided being apprehended by sending letters to law police outlining his misdeeds. A long-lasting reign of fear that plagued the town was put to an end with his arrest in 2005. He is presently serving 10 life sentences that are consecutive and without the chance of release. Number 5. Green River Killer Gary Ridgway. One of America's most active serial killers is Gary Ridgway, also referred to as the Green River Killer. He was found guilty of 48 killings, but he admitted to killing up to 71 women in Washington state in the 1980s and 1991. Most of his victims were weaker women, such as sex workers and fugitives. As suggested by his nickname, Ridgway's strategy consisted of winning the trust of his victims, killing them, and frequently disposing of their bodies next to the Green River. After his arrest in 2001, he struck a plea deal in 2003 that spared him the death penalty in exchange for helping to find his victims' bodies. Number 4. John Wayne Gacy. The American serial killer John Wayne Gacy, also referred to as the Killer Clown, was found guilty of raping, torturing, and killing 33 young men between 1972 and 1978. His horrible deeds were hidden behind a clown persona of community service and altruism. Following the discovery of many victims hidden in Gacy's Chicago house during a police inquiry into the disappearance of a youngster, his atrocities became public knowledge. The juxtaposition between his public image and his violent actions caused the nation to be horrified and troubled by his legacy when he was executed by lethal injection in 1994. Number 3. Robert Durst. The wealthy New York real estate scion Robert Durst became notorious for committing a number of heinous murders, which led to his rise to prominence. In the year 2000, Durst was responsible for the murder of his acquaintance Susan Berman, and in the year 2001, he was responsible for the murder of his neighbor Morris Black. When Durst's wife Kathleen McCormack vanished in 1982, there was a strong suspicion that he was involved in the disappearance. As a result of Durst's peculiar tactics, which included disguising as a woman in order to abstain from being captured, the investigation grew much more intriguing. In 2015, he was finally apprehended, which rekindled the public's interest in his enigmatic demeanor and the riddles that comprised the circumstances surrounding his criminal activities. In spite of the fact that Durst was proven to be responsible for the murder of Berman in 2021, his story continues to be a terrifying account of luxury, deceit, and the searching for justice. Number 2. Russell Williams. Colonel Russell Williams, who had retired from the Canadian Air Force, led a double life, which left the country in a state of deep surprise. Before his true identity as a violent killer and sexual predator became public knowledge, he was initially praised for his military prowess than for his actual identity. Williams became involved in a range of criminal activities, including the theft of underwear, the breaking and entering of homes, and ultimately the murder of 2 individuals. The horrifying level of his depravity was revealed by his well-planned assaults and unnerving fetishism. The case garnered a significant amount of attention from the media, which highlighted the inconsistency between his public persona and the horrifying reality of his private existence. There was a trail of deceit and incredulity that Williams left behind when he was sentenced to life in prison in 2010. He served as a sobering reminder of the capacity for evil, even in those who appear to be normal. Number 1. Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka. The horrifying deeds that Karla Homolka and Paul Bernardo committed in the early 1990s brought them widespread recognition in Canada. There were a number of awful rapes and murders that they committed together, including those committed by 2 young females named Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, as well as Karla's sister, Tammy Homolka. All of the nation was taken aback by their actions, which were also extensively covered by the media. A highly unnerving interplay of violence and deception in their relationship was revealed by the fact that Homolka played an active role in the attacks and killings that occurred. The case sparked passionate debates about the nature of evil and the appropriate procedure for the legal system to follow when dealing with crimes of such a heinous nature. In the beginning, Homolka entered into a plea bargain. Nevertheless, the fact that she was involved in the crimes eventually raised questions about the fairness of her sentencing. The legacy that they have left behind is one that will endure for generations to come, affecting not just the relatives of the victims, but also Canadian society as a whole. What do you think about this video? Share this video with your loved ones. See you soon.